Duke Nukem has not aged well. He's an icon of gaming, the star of Duke Nukem 3D that helped shape the first-person shooter genre back in the mid-1990s. After a preposterously drawn-out development cycle, we see him return in Duke Nukem Forever, a game that feels dated, derivative, and at times embarrassing. It can't decide if it wants to be a mindless, old-school shooter or a modern game that strives to be competitive in the current market. It tries to straddle over a decade of genre progress and too often falls flat on its face.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun. Was it good for you, baby?
The story is simple, as expected for a Duke Nukem game. Aliens are attacking, and Duke needs to kill them. As he kills, he'll spout one-liners ripped from movies and generally reinforce his narcissistic, sexist persona.
Come get some.
He feels like a relic, an ignorant personality that's remained shuttered in a basement while the rest of the industry moved on.
Wrap it before you tap it.
That's who Duke is, but what's really disappointing is nothing creative was done with his stubborn refusal to grow up in a world that has. Instead, Duke is still an offensive child with no redeeming qualities, and for some reason we're supposed to love him for it. Duke Nukem Forever looks old, which may not be surprising considering the development time. The environments that are meant to impress fall short because of the bland colors and a general lack of artistic flair. A majority of the giant bosses and combat encounters are decently designed, but most are forgettable. The grinding guitar music will slide from your memory moments after you hear it, and the story, as meager as it is poorly told.
It's down to you and me, you one-eyed freak.
Duke's staple personality may remain intact, but his play mechanics differ. He's got a regenerating health bar in Forever and can only carry 2 weapons, mechanics pulled from the games he takes so much pleasure in dismissing. Duke gets shotguns, rocket launchers, and freeze rays, which aside from the shotgun, lack any real punch or sense of impact. The on-foot fighting sections in Duke Nukem Forever are decent entertainment as you aim and shoot at pigs and teleporting jetpack soldiers and circle strafe around giant boss monsters. What's irritating is just about everything else. There's a lot of filler content in Duke Nukem Forever story mode, from poor imitations of Half-Life 2 physics puzzles to dull, unnecessarily long platforming sequences that do nothing but frustrate. An over-reliance on stationary turret sequences and some poorly implemented underwater sections certainly don't help matters, making the experience feel clumsily patched together. Once the single player is over, Forever includes a multiplayer mode where you'll take part in standard deathmatch, capture the flag, and king of the hill modes. Thanks to more classic online shooter design like jump pads and weapon spawn points, it's without the identity crisis of the single player mode and can be chaotic fun with crazy weapons. As might be expected, there's a persistent leveling structure that lets you unlock silly stuff, as well as items to take a look at in Duke's explorable penthouse. Thanks to the protracted development cycle of Duke Nukem Forever, he's achieved a legendary status he doesn't necessarily deserve. Forever is not a renaissance of old-school shooter design or a middle finger aimed at an evolving industry. It's a dusty, muddled experience with some decent shooting sections and a lot of poorly designed filler. Forever may be good for a brief nostalgic rush, but there's little else worthy of praise about Duke's tangled, awkward return. For more on Duke Nukem Forever, head over to